This particular broadcast contains an audible depiction of violence, so viewer discretion is advised. Salutations, sinners! April is here, so the scream rain season is upon us. As the saying goes, April showers bring dour hours, which is a perfect atmosphere to maximize the misery of everyone around you. If you would prefer not to go out and enjoy the rain, then I would suggest you gather a few indoor activities to occupy yourself, like reading, playing cards, coloring, or writing. Speaking of writing, I have received more letters from you fans! The first one I will read are some questions from a living viewer on Earth. Dear Radio Demon, I am a young lady still living, but we'll see with the way things are going in the living world. With hope there will be many more souls who more than deserve hellfire joining you within my lifetime, unless they're filth coming back home after mucking up the world. What I would like to ask, Alastor, is whether you think about what your mom would say if she were ever aware of your crimes, and whether you would take the opportunity to see her again up in heaven, even if the only path given to you was something resembling redemption. And how would you feel about what she may have to say to you about what you grew up to be? I appreciate that it's a personal question, but if you can't trust anyone in hell, at least trust that there's very little someone on Earth, or let's face it, in hell could do, even if you did say anything over broadcast on the topic. If you can't answer that, then another thing I wonder about is what your policy is about kids. Speculation says that you only killed men while on Earth, though I wouldn't put you above killing female overlords if it suited you once you died. But otherwise, it's said that you just like women more than men and are softer towards women. So I wonder if you have a similar code or aversion to hurting kids as also being a fairer means. Thank you very much. I hope to see your broadcast next month. On the compact picture box, yours a wannabe journalist. Thank you, wannabe journalist. I appreciate the effort you must have put in sending your letter all the way from Earth to hell. However, I do hope you rid yourself of any picture boxes, and instead embrace the superior medium of radio! Still, I will give you a pass, since I quite enjoy your letter. Your first question is most certainly thought-provoking, and when I first read it before airing this broadcast, I had to sit and ponder it for quite some time. Deep down, I hope my mother wouldn't hate me for all I've done. I mean, my first kill was for her, and most of my other kills were all scum who looked down upon people like us. However, I know, even as loving and forgiving as she would be disgusted by the demon I am. As such, I do not think I could ever bring myself to meet her again, even if given such an opportunity. I only hope that now she's happy in heaven, and that she still remembers me as a now long-gone son she loved when we parted. Now regarding your next question, I only kill those I feel deserve it, which does not include kids. However, if some are being unruly bullies, then I have no qualms against turning their worlds upside down and teaching them a lesson. Moreover, although I do not go after kids, women are not necessarily exempt from my killings. While I do try to be a gentleman, I do not consider myself to be softer towards women. However, I do find women are less frequently deserving of my wrath, and as someone who has faced prejudice, I can sympathize with them more. With those questions answered, let us move on to the next letter. Greetings, Radio Demon. I'm a fellow supporter of your beloved broadcast, and I've always admired your immense charm and powerful presence in the pentagram. Really glad to see you return. I've always wanted to know, though, where did you get your signature staff from? Did it spawn in with you in hell, or did you obtain it yourself? Rumor says it's the source of your great power, so maybe you can shed a bit of light on that. Thank you, KN Tan. Thanks back to you, and you flatter me with your compliment. Regarding your question, you are correct in assuming that it spawned in with me. While it appears to be merely an accessory, I think of it more as an extension of myself. As a consequence, it does minorly affect my powers. However, it is not at all the source of all my strength. I am the strongest sinner in hell, after all. It would be foolish to believe that my power would be concentrated in solely one object, even if that object is nearly impossible to break. Be warned that even without my staff, I am not a force to be messed with, and if anyone dares to test such a claim, well, I'll take pleasure in painfully proving it to you. I now have a letter asking about the content of my broadcast. Dear, written like the animal, Alastor, I've been a big fan of your show for the longest time, so glad to see it return to the radio waves. But I was wondering if you'll be bringing back the Screams of Eternal Torment section. It was so lovely as background noise. Best wishes, Pain Onslaught 1235. Thank you for your letter, Pain, and to answer your question, I do intend to bring back the torture segment of my broadcast. In fact, I intend to do so this very show! I've received many other anonymous notes urging for its return, and I apologize for its delay. However, please note that it does take time to pick out the perfect victim and torture method, and I'm sure you all would prefer to be served perfection instead of anything half-baked. Those were all the letters I am reading on this broadcast. However, feel free to send me some to read on my upcoming ones. Even if you already sent me a letter, any listener is free to send more, asking other questions, offering suggestions, or merely praising me. You can do so by mailing your letters to 666 YouTube Comment Street, and I'll gladly read over your writing and determine if it is fit to be read aloud by me on my show. Now allow me to transition into a few endorsements before we commence with the rest of my broadcast. As returning listeners of my show are aware, I am affiliated with some fine establishments. Pay a visit to Rosie's Emporium if you're looking to purchase food, clothes, dinnerware, perfumes, and much more. I mean, it's an emporium. They have an incredible variety of goods to purchase. Rosie also offers consultations where she listens to your woes and gives you tailored advice. Another store you might like to check out if you're in the area is Outer Space, one of the stores owned by ACG Goods. There, you can buy sensibly priced collectible memorabilia, from stickers to keychains to standees. As you may guess, there are a few items that are modeled after me, although it seems like that Bane TV head has also made a deal with the store and couldn't help but jump at the opportunity to slap his face on more products. Finally, if you are in the mood to strive for redemption, or perhaps more likely, to watch as others struggle and fail to be redeemed, then stop by the Has-Been Hotel. Now with those settled, it is almost time for the long-awaited Torment section. Allow me to first preface that, if you, for some reason, are a younger or sensitive viewer, I would suggest that you turn off your radio and or skip the rest of this broadcast as it will be unpleasant. Now, for the remaining lot of you listeners, please excuse me while I hunt down my victim.
What? You're not coming to my tea party? Bethany, I made biscuits. What do you mean your grandma just died? We're in hell, she'll just regenerate. Ugh, whatever. I hope Mr. Box makes you do all my unfinished paperwork. Wait, what was that? What? No, Bethany, don't hang up, don't! Shit. Whatever. It was probably just the wind anyway. Ah!
Salutations, Miss Violet Murdoch.
Untie me, you creep. This better be an April Fool's joke. And how do you know my name, you red furry freak?
I do love a good prank, however this is not one of those, unfortunately for you. And I hope you are not joking about not knowing me, considering how absolutely obnoxious you have been regarding slandering my reputation. Usually I do not go after such weak sinners like you for my broadcast. However, you have been especially irritating to me. It has been quite a while since I've properly done this, and every artist needs a warm-up.
The radio demon?
In the flesh!
Listen, I'm sorry about calling you a freak just now, and all the hate letters I sent you earlier, and saying you're, like, old, or that radio's dumb or whatever, but that was, like, all satire, so it's not that serious.
And about the plethora of people you roped into joining your mission to pester and inconvenience me?
Okay, that was only maybe like 110 people tops. Listen, we were all like lower end employees at Voxtech, and we were hoping that we could like ruin your reputation, then the V's would be pleased with us, and we could all be promoted, and I could finally work with Miss Velvet.
Is that all you have to say?
Don't you feel a little bit of remorse? I mean, we're totally overworked and harassed all day and thought of as only tools.
My compassion died a long time ago, Miss Murdoch. Now I'm bored of hearing any more of this preamble, and I'm sure my dear listeners are as well. So without further ado, allow me to remind you why the name Alastor still strikes terror into sinners' hearts.
Ah! You're f***ing insane! Ah!
Oof.
You'll regret this! Ah! 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 I'm sorry, okay? Don't stop. Just please stop. Help! Ah!
Soon Violet should be pushing up daisies. Oh, it felt so wonderful to do this again. Nothing quite beats the adrenaline of hunting prey down, and the satisfaction of watching them helplessly struggle before their inevitable demise. Anywho, that is the end of this broadcast. I hope you found this one especially enjoyable, and remember to tune on in next time for some more delightful entertainment.